Hi, everyone. This is Sherry Sims, founder of Black Career Women's Network, and thank you for tuning in for our second day 2 of our Career Smarts Masterclass. I'm a Career Smarts Virtual Masterclass. Now, we have had some technical difficulties this evening, so we had to log in and log back out and log back in, so we are here. So I'm going to go ahead and text you guys or Facebook you guys and let you know that we are live and that we'll go ahead and lock this into the front of the page. So Tawana, I hate for us to do this all over again because Tawana and I were really talking, thinking we were live and we were not. I know. So I'm going to go ahead and let everyone know that then we are live and then we are going to unfortunately have to start over. So as of right now, again, we are in here. Thank you guys for being so patient with us with the technical difficulties we had. Again, we have to go back in and we're going to have to start over, but that's okay. So tonight, who I have with us is Tawana Is it Backwad? Am I saying it right? Fantastic. And she is one of the 3 ladies from the dynamic team of Evoke Life. And Evoke Life is going to be here with us tonight to talk about being is the new doing and talking about how to be your authentic self and creating a blueprint for success. I'm really excited to talk to Tawana tonight. And then we're going to talk a little bit about her. But first, what I want to do is make sure that we let you know what Evoke Life is. Okay, who is Evoke Life? Who are they? And so Evoke Life is a well-being company. These are women in STEM who engineer extract concepts from science, spirit, and reality, and they're transforming and I can't get nothing out, y'all. I'm hot. I'm flustered because we've been having all these technical difficulties. So they take science, reality, and spirit into transformational products of evoked significance to change people's lives and work. So their genius is in identifying the exact levers to which your current personal, professional, and organizational challenges. They look at those and then try to shift things. So when they're open the door to new and desired results. So at the end of the day, what they do is work on the whole being of you and who you are and how everything impacts every aspect of your life. So Tawana's going to be talking about that. But before we actually start diving into what being is a new doing, we first want to start and share with you who Tawana is. Okay. Now, Tawana is a global human resources executive with 20 years experience with Fortune 500 companies. She has leveraged her experience in engineering, organizational design, corporate strategy, and leadership to create solutions that deliver business goals through diverse teams and organizations. Now, I remember a couple of years back, we had Evoke Life on our career conversations 2 years. As a matter of fact, it was 2 years ago this week.
Oh, wow.
It was 2 years ago this week. You guys were actually on a career conversation live like this. And I remember you and I having a telephone conversation talking about the challenges of Black women in the workplace. At the time, you were telling me some of the things that you were going through, and even at your C-suite level, the challenges you were having. So I thought that was very inspiring to listen to at that time, to know that it doesn't matter what level you are in your career as a Black woman, the challenges are there.
Yep.
So I just wanted to put that out there, but I noticed that what we'll be talking about tonight, though. So, we've already, look how many people we got here already. Hi, you guys. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Tiara. Hi, Phyllis. Glad you joined. So, you guys, when Tawana starts talking and sharing with us, I think she's gonna adjust her camera. We have a couple of people said they couldn't see you, but she's gonna work it out. Feel free to ask her questions in your Facebook Live. They'll pop up, and we'll make sure we put them on the screen for her as well. So we've told you a little bit about her. Now, when she's getting herself adjusted here, she's going to talk to us about what is being is the new doing. What does that really mean? Now, I know I want to break into the science, the spirit, and the reality piece, but I really want you to explain to our viewers, what does being is the new doing, and what does that really mean? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. I'm still trying to adjust my camera myself. I'm sorry that it's so dark. So, hi everyone. Such an honor to be here with my sisters. As we started over, I was sharing with Sherry that this is an exciting time for me because I have officially retired from corporate America as of January 2nd.
Well, congratulations.
I didn't add that part. And I also have a 6-month-old bonus baby. And my oldest is 18. So that will be number 4. So I am definitely in a life change space right now. And I'm so happy for my partners, Radaya and Ronnie, because they have helped me to figure out what is my new being, as I am a full-time entrepreneur and a mother of 4 now with a newborn at 45. And I'm happy to say I'm 45, but a new mom, which is a new challenge, but blessing at the same time. So as we talk about being is the new doing, one of the things that we've done as a team is we have been seeking to understand what's the challenges that we go through as women, not just women of color, but women in general who want it all. And we struggle with this question of, and why can't we? Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we constantly look at is we take on so many projects to try to figure out, am I accomplished here? Am I accomplished there? Did I help this person? Did I do this? Because the nature of who we are as women is we're nurturers.
Right.
Right. And everything that we do, we try to do to better others, and we put ourselves on the back burner. And then when we declare that we want to be, Ronnie is trying to join. Okay.
Yeah, she won't be able to because the other one expired and we had to go in.
Okay. No problem. So as we work through that for ourselves and for so many of the women that we love and care about, we started this journey of fine-tuning. What does that look like? And the question that kept coming up was, what are these things that drive us that will have us to take on so many hats? The mother, the wife, the caretaker, the taxi cab driver, right? You name it, we do it. And in doing that, we continue to put ourselves on the back burner. Mm-hmm. And then we feel guilty, as I mentioned, when we decide to put ourselves first. So we work through this process, which is a 3-part process of really understanding how to discover who that person is that we're being today, and then unearth what's driving her. And I say that from a perspective of it isn't about this is a bad person, because we actually honor her because she helped us get to the successful place that we are today.
Right.
But as we well know, we desire so much more for ourselves, which is the beauty of us. We have high capacity, right? We're highly intelligent, bright, beautiful women, and we want more. And why can't we? Why can't you have it all?
Right.
Can't you have it all, Sherry?
I want it all.
Exactly.
As far as I'm concerned, I already have it all and been doing it all.
That's what I'm talking about. And we don't want any guilt. Right. To come along with that, because then someone may feel that they're not neglected. Most times when we set those boundaries, people support us.
Right.
And it's our stories and the backdrop is what holds us back from moving forward. So at Evoke Life by Design, that's what we do. We insert that there is these guiding thoughts, emotions, and feelings that's driving this default person that has us in autopilot. And then during the design phase, and I want to get through this process because I want to take you all's questions. I think that's where the, meat of it is at. Is in the design phase, we try to create some space between who you've been and who you desire to be. And in doing so, we envision what that person would look like, what her space would look like, who would be around her, what would she be doing, how would she look? I mean, there's so many elements of that, but really getting at the mind, body, and spirit of that person. And then from there, we begin to design it and help you put in place an infrastructure to support it. And my favorite part of that work is we forced you to distinguish between bullshit actions and oh shit actions. And we spend no time on bullshit actions.
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that?
We
I love
help
that.
you, right? We help you get clear on oh shit actions versus bullshit actions. You don't need our support to do bullshit actions. You know, some of us do that all day, and that's why we haven't achieved what we have. And we drive that through our intention scale. And that intention scale goes from a -7 to a 7. And our desire and hope for women, powerful women, is that you're at a 7, a +7, which is embodying how that person should be, right? Versus how you've been. And most times when you're in default, you're in the negative range, anywhere from sabotaging, which is a -7, to avoiding, which is a -2. And we really help you build that infrastructure and action plan in place. And for us personally, we blueprint as we have changes happen in our life. So, you know, I got a college student, I got a new baby, I just retired. I'm blueprinting my behind off right now, trying to figure out who it is I want to be.
I like that you said that, because, you know, it's in terms of the blueprint, and that there's different stages of our lives, right? And so I think, don't you agree that sometimes we can get stuck in those stages and not know how to move forward?
Absolutely.
So let's talk about that. And I think one of the things I'm going to put this up on the screen so people can see it, is talking about the question of who you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Question of who you are, because, and the reason why this is a good segue into that, when you're talking about the different stages of life, talking about who you are. So how does that adjust, right? How do we adjust to the different phases of our life and then still look at who we are? How do we adjust who we are for the new phase? Or how do we recognize what needs to shift for the new phase?
So I think the biggest question is around fear, right? Every time we hit a new space or place in our life, we're faced with our fears. And how do we walk through those spaces confident? So it's about, who are you being at that time that the change or shift occur in your life? And is that being going to help you get through it? Or is there something else that you need to do? And we would insert that what needs to shift sometimes is the very thing that's in front of you. Or it could be that there's people in your life, or that there's things that are imposing on you, making that shift. But most times it's our thoughts, core thoughts, feelings, and emotions that get in the way. And we would first look externally before looking internally. That's just who we are as people, right? Because It's easy for me to say, Sherry, I need you to stop doing this so I can do that. Right. But it's hard for me to go, Tawana, you got to get your stuff together and deal with your own shit. Excuse my language. I hope I'm not offending. But they've
heard me before. You're good.
Right. You got to deal with your shit in a nutshell. And how many people are willing to just openly do that? When I'm in a change or shift in my life, I don't immediately go to what I got to deal with me. I immediately go to action. What I got to do. I got to do this. I got to get that. I got to take this. I got to move that. I don't go to my mental first that says, what is required of me to be the better version of myself?
I like that.
To move me through this process, this next phase or stage of my life. That is the pause that we're asking women, friends, sisters to take as they go to that next level or the next stage of a journey.
So what I want to do, viewers, for all of you who are watching, as we go through these different segments and bullet points, do not wait to ask questions. Mm-hmm. Jump in, type in something. Make sure you put hashtag Career Smarts, hashtag Evoke Life when you do that, so we'll know. And I'll put that up here for you guys. Since we started late, we might as well just roll with it, right?
Yeah, roll with it.
Career, hashtag Career Smarts, and we'll put that up here for you as well, so you can see that. And then the next one is hashtag evoke life. Okay. And use those two in your Facebook when you ask a question. And like I said, they want to cut to one off, but as she starts to share these things and you guys have something in your mind, you want to ask a question, don't be afraid. Let's talk about it. Be transparent. So this is the time to find out about the beings and new doing and change your mindset. Look, I'm gonna be asking questions too. So I'm gonna be transparent too. So I got one for you now. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna ask you. I remember in my 20s when I was single, didn't have any children. I had my daughter when I was 30, but I was in such survival mode for the longest. You know what I mean? And so when I had my daughter, I adapted to becoming a mother fairly quickly. There wasn't any issues with that at all, but I still kind of had that survival mentality. And so it took me a while to change that. And I think the light bulb went off and I said, okay, you can't keep doing your finances like this when you got a kid to feed. So what are some of the signs that you feel like when you know you're about to hit a brick wall and you keep trying to do what used to work and it no longer works for you without really crashing and burning and failing, before you make that change?
I think that's an excellent question, but I have to start out with most of us hit our head first. Before, because we have signs all around us all the time, right? And we feel it. Our nature tell us this isn't working, but because we are women that make things happen, we make things happen. So I have to acknowledge that, and I would tell you that that's where we get into that default behavior on autopilot, just doing. And as we move to the signs of this isn't working for me, I think they show up in a couple of ways. I think, and I think we're all who are spiritual beings have a way of God sending signs to us in conversation and people and our actions. But the first thing that happens, Sherry, is we get tired. We get tired. We either get tired of we're so much of going and doing that we're just exhausted, and then we stop and go, how did I get here? So there's an exhaustion that takes place. I think the second thing that happens for us around signs is we start to really think about how can I do things better, but I don't know what's the best way to do it, and I don't have the space to create a distance between how I'm doing things and how I would like to do things. So we just keep doing things the same way. And we would call that hamster on a wheel, right? Constantly just going and doing and not taking time out for ourselves. And then unfortunately, the third thing that happens is that we get sick. Right? Our immune system break down on us. What we think is just a cold. That's your body saying, stop, freeze, pause, right? Give me a moment to just catch up with your mental that's going 24/7. So for me, I can honestly say that's how the signs have occurred in my life. What I am more conscious of now is that I can look at my schedule and I go, wow. I recall being in corporate and I didn't have time to go to the bathroom.
Oh, I know oh my gosh, you have no idea.
Walk to the bathroom with me, go in the stall next to me to talk about whatever they had to talk to me about, right? And I'm like, okay, but I was okay with it. And that was also me contributing to not creating space for my own self, because I needed to say to them, I really just want to use the bathroom in peace. It's actually my mental health moment to collect myself before the next thing occurs.
Especially the times for me, I remember where I would work through lunch every single day. I mean, I would just work through lunch, just take it there and eat, just eat. And just keep going, because I'm like, I can't, 60 seconds of my time, I felt like I was like 5 hours behind. So I'm glad you said this. So break this down for me really, really quick. I know this is one of the things I wanted to make sure we covered, was really explain to our audience what is being versus doing.
Love that. Yes. So one is mental and one is physical. And
Okay.
there's lots of comparisons between the two, right? And let me start with doing first, because
Okay.
doing is a whole lot of activity. And it's a way for us to measure success. It's a way for us to check off boxes that we've accomplished something, right? And it could all be things that in the grand scheme of urgent or important, we're not even working on those things that's moving to the needle to what really our goal is that we're trying to achieve. But it's a checkbox, right? It's a bunch of busyness. And being is about embodying who you want to be in order to achieve the goal that you have set. And I can honestly tell you that when I'm at my highest intention level, I'm performing at my peak. When I'm at my lowest intention level, meaning I'm doing for the sake of because somebody asked me, I'm doing because I've declared that's my responsibility. I'm going here, I'm doing this, and I'm depriving myself of who I really want to become. And I want to be able to have space to think. That's being. And what I will also tell you, Sherry, is most people aren't comfortable being with themselves.
Right.
Some
This is
people
true.
don't want thinking time. Go ahead.
So no, go ahead because I don't want us to stop. But you're absolutely right. I was just agreeing with you when it came to the fact that a lot of people don't want to be with themselves. Now I'm the opposite. I mean, I love being by myself. In terms of just being able to regroup. I can't have a lot of busyness around me when I'm trying to recharge. So get out of my way. I'll turn the television off. Whatever I need to do to have that time.
Right.
And the older I get, the more I have to force myself to have that time. And which is odd because you think, when you're younger, you want to slow down and automatically have that. But it's been the opposite for me.
Right. And Phyllis is absolutely right because she wrote that, being busy isn't the same as being productive or actually achieving anything. I think, Phyllis, you're absolutely right. I find, again, when I'm at my highest intention level on something, I'm highly productive. When I'm at my lowest intention, I look at all the activities that I have to do and what I have going on in my life. And I'm doing some of those things so I can get them out the way, or I don't have to hear somebody's mouth or somebody keep reminding me. That lives very differently. That has a pull on you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And a negative pull at that. But when I'm working on something to achieve my goal, and a goal is your goal, right? Even if it's helping someone, if that's a goal that's leading you to your ultimate destination, then that's fantastic. So you should have intention around what do I need to be? How do I need to be in order to deliver that so that I still have energy for myself and it feels good while I'm doing it? Now, don't get me wrong. Everything that we do, we won't feel good about, right?
Right.
And there is things that we have to do that we don't like, but that should not be the majority of the activities in my life. And most of us spend a lot of time doing things that we don't like, don't care for, don't like the people we're doing it with, and we do it every single day. So for me, that's how I would capture the difference between being versus doing.
Well, I like that. So, any questions for Tawana in reference to the being versus the doing, and who finds himself, who's in that space, who's in either space? And if you are, looking for a way to get out of that, this is a good time to ask Tawana those questions now.
Absolutely.
Before we go on to the next.
Sherry, I'll add one other thing because we talked about how we deprive. I like to liken that to not being properly nourished, right? We deprive ourselves mentally, emotionally, socially of the things that we need that will have us to operate at our highest intention, therefore being at the top of our game. Because we've been depleted
Mm-hmm.
of those natural nutrients. And what I'm referring to as nutrients are those things that power and fuel us, versus we spend most of our times on things that burn us out.
Right.
In some cases, burn us up.
Yeah, that's true. So then let's break it down. Let's talk about then that. Well, first Tierra says,
Tierra
yes,
has a question.
break the cycle, which is good. We're going to talk about that, which is what I'm getting out, Tierra. So you're right on track with that question. But the spirit plus science plus reality.
Yeah.
What is the analogy behind that with the vote? Yeah, I'm going to put that up here so our viewers can see that.
Okay.
What's the analogy behind that?
So if I'll do the middle as it's the connector to the spirit and reality. So when we talk about science, all of us have a background in the STEM, right? So for Dyer and I are engineers, and Dr. Ronnie is a mathematician. So when we were thinking about a program that can move women to the next level, we wanted to have a methodology that we knew could work day after day, situation after situation, and we've tested, and it's been fail-proof for us. And we have clients that have been very happy, including ourselves.
Okay.
And so, but we do it in a space of reality. So we get right to it. That's why we can distinguish between bullshit actions versus oh shit actions, right? And the reality of calling it on the table of how we've been operating versus how we want to operate, and what are we doing to bridge that gap. So that's the reality check that we go through. And then we're grounded in spirit because all three of us are God-fearing women. And we know that we are operating under a higher being. And we also believe that that higher being wants the best for us, that we are not designed to suffer, right? To be under undue stress.
Yeah.
That is not the way the Creator has designed this to be. However, our individual influence of what we believe our life should be has overwritten that to some extent. So we try to stay grounded in knowing that this is intended to be the best for you, because that's how God intended it to be.
I love that.
That is the spirit, science, and reality of our approach.
I love it. I'm so glad you broke that down. I mean, this is great. So we got some comments here.
Okay.
We cover those. Tracy says that she loves the term operating in the highest intention. Explain more. Yes, we are going to get to that, Tracy. We are going to get to intention. So just hold on to that as we move forward. Shayla, hi. Thank you for tuning in.
Shayla.
He says, I have a feeling that the problem of procrastination may be relevant to this being versus doing conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe as a byproduct of being deficiency. Have you experienced this or can speak to ways to move from that space?
Great question, Shayla. As you well know, once we become overwhelmed, you go from having all these things to do to you can't do anything. Some people just become frozen in this space, right? Mm-hmm. They become paralyzed to, I'm so overwhelmed, I can't do anything, because you committed to do so many things. And none of those things are fueling you. They're actually depleting you or burn you out. So you're absolutely right that procrastination is a part of, or one of the byproducts of doing too much, right? And not making choices about your time. I have come to the conclusion in my personal experience that those who respect me, you demonstrate that by respecting my time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if I don't make my time a priority, then you won't. And that becomes so important. And so when I see a bunch of things on my schedule now, I go, this day doesn't work for me. Mm-hmm. What is the most important thing that's lining up to the goal that I'm trying to achieve today?
Yeah.
And if I have things on my calendar that does not line up with that, I need to reschedule them. And it's not because I'm saying I won't do them, because they could be very much important. but they're not happening with the goal that I've set for myself for today. So there is a bigger goal, and then there's goals that I set every day that's leading up to that bigger goal. And that is my way of demonstrating commitment to myself. I'm going to love on me in 2018 like they ain't never seen love before. And I keep telling folks, I'm going to show you better than I can tell you.
It's really good, because I think I want to talk to specifically to the women that are on here listening who have a full-time job and a side, okay?
Yeah.
Because, and I'm
But
saying
I've been doing for the last 4 years, right?
I'm transparent, okay?
Yes.
Because working full-time and building BCWN has been no joke.
Yes.
And I have been in that being versus doing.
Yes.
You know, where I'm working full time and then I'm doing all these things to build BCWN, and the pull, right? The pull is there. It is real. You know, trying to focus on giving all your attention to the 8 to 9 to 5, and then you know they're intertwining the time and doing too much. And I came to the realization after 2.5 years, that I said I cannot do both. I am not successful at doing both.
Yep.
You know, and something was giving, and it was either I'm doing great here, but I'm procrastinating with BCW and not getting the things done I need to do, or follow up, or whatever the case may be. Now that I'm 100 doing it and nothing else, it's like the stress is like completely.
Yes.
Because now I'm focusing, and I learned this about myself. And when you're in a 9 to 5, you multitask. You do it because that's what you typically are used to doing.
Correct.
But when you're multitasking from a standpoint of a full-time job in your side place, or with your side hustle, or you're trying to transition it to, it's a whole other challenge. And I had to recognize that, you know what, I'm not good at doing both at the same time, and something has to give. And I realized I only now like to do one thing at a time.
Right.
So I had to come to the realization of that and say, you got to be real about where you are, Sherry. Get real about that, the reality of it, and be honest about it, and speaking, walking my truth about what I need to change in order for me to continue to walk this path. So I tell my side hustle women, stop acting like it's easy, because it's not.
Right.
You know, once you're full time and doing your stuff, it's not easy, and I know it's not, and I feel you, because you are being pulled in 2 different directions. Yeah. It's a lot of stress, time management, priorities. Things are going to happen, but you're going to get to that place where you can't being and doing. Which one are you going to do?
Right. And Sherry, I will add to that from a personal story. I went out on disability for 3 months because I worked myself into exhaustion.
Wow.
And even after coming back, where I lied, when we talk about reality, I lied to myself that I can do this and I'm going to do it differently and I'm going to commit to me. And the more I got back into the swing of things, the more I got back into the swing of things and that pull. So my bonus baby, I believe, spirit said, I don't want to have to kill her. So let me give her this baby, something bigger than herself, to make her make a decision.
Right.
I honestly and truthfully believe that. And I share this with you and your audience to just say it is real.
Yeah.
The struggle is real.
It's real.
And for someone who's driven, high capacity, want it all, believe you can do it all, there will come a time where all those things will clash together, and you will have to make a decision, or the universe will make one for you.
Yeah, and you will recognize it, because you will. I remember specifically when I started doing this 4 years ago, and between now and then, I look up and I said, okay, where did the extra 50 pounds come from?
Right.
And I'm thinking, I'm doing and moving. It's not like I'm not active, but the stress from everything. And that's where it comes from. And then I started to see little small things going on with my health. I said, yeah, I need to make some changes. And then, not that I'm running around thinking I'm a spring chicken, because I know I'm not that. But I could tell I had to recognize those things like you. And when I started having some of the little health challenges I was having, I said, yeah, I definitely need to think about what do I need to change to do that. So I'm like, I'm happy working in my purpose, but I'm not doing something the right way because I am on that verge of burnout.
Right.
So we got a ton of questions in here too. So let's get to these.
Okay.
So, hi Nasha, thank you for tuning back in. She was on last night. She said, I think I am in a busy space as a mom, student, and employee. How do I get to that being space at 24?
So I think it doesn't matter what age you are. So I should start there, right? Because as this world is moving 110 times faster than it ever have, in particular in this technology age that we're in. And the thing that I would ask you about considering is what is important and what are you trying to achieve? Just the fact that you mentioned that you're a student obviously said that you have some personal goals that you're trying to achieve for yourself. So if that is what is important, and I'm not saying important that you being a mom, your children or child isn't important. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying, though, is if this is the time that you've declared to be a student, then what is it that you need to do to have a support and infrastructure in place to make sure that you don't burn out? What I would say is, as women, we take on these different projects and then we have an assumption that there's no one there to help me. I can honestly tell you that I wear my S, or used to wear my S on my chest: Supergirl, Superwoman, picker. And I would say, I don't want to burden other people. I don't want to bother other people. And the minute that I reached out for help, so many just came. We don't ask for help. We don't share what our situation is. The fact that you're 24, a mom and a student and working, so many people will commend you for that and ask, what can I do to help? Or you get clear on what does help look like in order for you to achieve the goal that you set for yourself. But I would also challenge you to say, are those 3 projects enough? Or are you trying to get your side hustle on too? Because that's what we do. Overcommit, we overstretch, and we don't nourish ourselves.
She's so right. So I hope that answered your question, Nasha, and then just feel free to ask another one as well.
Absolutely.
Brooke, we've got Brooke on here now, and Brooke says, amen. Once we realize that God didn't intend for us to suffer, all things are possible. Those chains will loosen along the bondage. It could coincide with consciousness. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that level of consciousness is something else. And then Brooke says, oh, that's Brooke. Sorry about that, Brooke. We want to repeat that. And then Shayla says, thank you. I really needed that. You're welcome, Shayla.
All right, Shayla.
And then Daniette says, I agree. Make sure that friends, coworkers, and family who put demands on me know that their lack of preparation is not my emergency for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Girl.
Absolutely, girl. Take your time back. As a matter of fact, guard your time.
Yes. So Brooke has a good question here. She says, why do you think we correlate exhaustion with success? Why is that the norm, even though we are aware of the negatives?
So why do you think we correlate exhaustion with success? Most times when we see people who are doing a lot, they'll say, I'm doing great. This is going, I'm so tired. I mean, people say it, they put it in the universe if they're really being honest, and they are. I can think about, I go back to that analogy of nourishing yourself, right? We are tired because we committed to doing too much, right?
Yep.
And so, but I don't think necessarily that there's a correlation. The correlation is the behaviors that we have with what you have defined as success. Because success for me, I have a different definition of success, right? Success for me is achieving my ultimate goal. And because I set a goal every single day, I'm successful because I've set that criteria.
So I like what she's saying. So what she's, and I get what you're saying completely, Tawana, because to me it sounds like that exhaustion it's kind of like it's kind of like your thought. That's what you think. You think that success means exhaustion. That necessarily is not the case, right?
Correct.
So it's your mindset with that. And so I'm going to go ahead and put Ebony's question up here. And thank you, Brooke. So because I want to make sure we get to the intention.
Okay, great.
Should we get to that? But Ebony's question is, how do you keep going when you're burnt out and overwhelmed?
So Ebony, there is a push through factor that we all have in ourselves and should have. But when you're burnt out and overwhelmed, you have to stop, or you will find yourself sick. Mm-hmm. Or it will be the start of cancer. And I don't necessarily mean the disease cancer. I mean a cancer that will take over your being to start to wear down your immune, right? And we become extra sensitive and emotional and things like that because we're not operating at our fullest potential. So what I would assert here is I would ask you, if you know that you're burnt out and overwhelmed, then stop. Not pause, because you passed the point of pausing. You have to stop and reevaluate where you are and what you're doing that is causing you to be burnt out. And I want to make sure that everyone hear the you, because people will say, my boss is hard. He's always on me. I got this to do, all these demands. Well, when people put demands on you, you have to accept them. I get demands all the time because people want me to put them as a priority, but I don't accept the demands as demands. I have to weigh what is it that I'm capable of doing that day, and then I commit. If I don't commit, then I'm not accepting that demand on my time. So again, you're absolutely right. It goes back to reclaiming your time. If you don't hear me say anything else tonight, reclaiming your time is so important, and that's how you guard from the burnout and distractions and the overwhelmness that we feel every single day. And you know, and I know that that's easier said than done, because we have trained people how to treat us. You're the go-to person.
I think that you hit the head. We have trained people how to treat us, and then we, because we are so busy,
absolutely
we not recognize some of that, right? And so we definitely need to learn how to recognize it, and then change the whole pattern of that.
Absolutely,
change the expectation and everything. So Danette says something good here. She says, I knew that I had to stop being busy when my 14-year-old daughter told me, Mommy, you make the impossible possible. That's when I knew setting a bad example for her. How do we ensure that we are not making these behaviors generational? That's a good one.
That is an awesome one, because we are guilty of it.
Yes.
Those things that have been in the backdrop of what has driven us, even though it stretched us, we declare that it's made us successful. So we want to hand down those behaviors because we have this model that says it's made us successful. And I am thankful that you asked that question, because that is not the muscle that we want to build for our children. Let's hopefully that we can break the cycle of them doing versus being. So I want to teach my children how to be empowered. What does that mean? I want to teach them that they have options. What does that look like? Because if I can get them to decide with some, ramification and logical thinking, right, around understanding my decision and my choices, how they show up, will then help us in breaking that generational cycle. And it could be taken as a compliment as well, because we do make the impossible seem possible. Right? That's our superhero spirit.
Yes.
But at the same time, it comes with a cost.
So I want to make sure we spend some time really talking about this one specifically right here.
Absolutely.
What is intention, right? Because again, I know I know when we did this, when we all were on the Google Hangout together a couple of years ago, we did the one about authentic self, and Ronnie really honed in on intention in a different way. So now that you guys are the beings and you're doing, and you kind of in that space, talk about what is intention, but talk about it from a perspective of, I guess, from careers. Because I think what happens when we get to this place in our careers where we don't know how to move forward, or we don't know how to pull back, so we are not working 40 plus hours a week, or if we're stuck because we're making good money but don't want to go to the next level because we're scared. How does a conscious mind help to create the right intentions from an aspect of how we go about doing or being?
Right.
Great. You know what I'm saying.
I got it. I'm clear. As you were talking, the first thing that came to mind for me is about what is the ultimate goal that someone is trying to achieve. And you've heard me say that quite a bit, because sometimes we walk around aimless. We just have this space and place that says, I have to do all these things. And my question is, and they're leading up to what?
Right.
So if I can get us to define the what, then we can begin to talk about your intention to deliver against the what. And most times we're not necessarily committed to anything because we have so many things to do. So our commitment is just to get a bunch of stuff done. And then the check is that we have accomplished. So when you ask me the question around what is intention, intention for me is about your ability to deliver something at a higher quality level, right? That you have your whole being to deliver that thing. And if that's the case, you and I both know I can't have my whole self be committed to 50 things, right? We will kill ourselves faster than what we're doing today.
Yes, I so agree.
The ultimate goal that we're working towards, and then what is our intention level to deliver that? Because I can say to you, Sherry, I want to lose 20 pounds. And then you say, well, Tawana, how you plan to do that? Like, I'm going to eat right. I'm going to count my calories. I'm going to work out 3 times a week. And then my next question is, and what is your intention to do those actions? And I go, oh, I'm committed. The likelihood that you would achieve that 20 pounds in the time that you set is low. But if I said, I'm going to embody what a 20-pound slimmer person looks like, feels like, walks like, eats like, talks like, that whole shift now occurs, right? And the first thing at the top of my list, and I'm going to be cute doing it. So this intention scale that we have is really about testing. It's a litmus test for us. And most times we find people are at sabotaging or rejecting or avoiding. Because I can say to you, Sherry, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week, but I don't like to sweat. Well, that's a problem. So you on the treadmill, and the minute you feel a little miss, you done, and you've only burned 10 calories. Right? So that's where we do that litmus test between those oh shit actions and bullshit actions. Because if you're only, I don't want to sweat, then you're going to avoid sweating. Therefore, you're not going to go to the gym.
Right. So talk about, the intentions of, I guess people keeping up with the Joneses, so to speak, or your coworker just got the promotion, so you want to be right behind them with that. I mean, so, what are some of the things that people can do to raise their level of consciousness with the bullshit actions versus the, the other actions?
Well, I would say get out of this trap of wanting what the Joneses have. because what's meant for you will be for you, and what's meant for them sometimes may not be meant for them, but they figure out how to get it.
Right.
That's how corporate works.
Right.
And so for me, it's about, if you have set a goal to get promoted in the next 6 months, then you need to understand what does it take, and then set your intention on delivering against those things. Now, this becomes very tricky, as you well know, in corporate America, because we can do everything that's been asked of us and deliver it with excellence. And if they have no intention to give it to you, you won't get it.
Right.
Now, you don't want me to get on this subject, because you know I'll go there.
No, already know. Already know.
I need for us to be clear that when you decide to play in that arena, then you have to understand that it's not a level playing field.
But let's talk about this, though, because this is what BCW is all about, right?
Okay.
It's being able to navigate through those waters when it comes to being in the workplace. So that's why I said spending time on intentions is huge, right? So let's talk about that, because you, again, like you said, you're doing everything right. You get to that point. What's the smart? Is it Brooke said, get on the
Brooke said, get on it. Get on it, Brooke said.
Brooke is ready. She's like, get on it. So here's the thing, how do we recognize their intentions, or how do we have that discernment to recognize that? And I was going to use one quick example for me. And this was years ago when I had applied for a position, and immediately I could tell I was getting the runaround. You can't, like you said, you can't bullshit the person who knows the process, right? And I could clearly see that I was getting the runaround because I wasn't taking through the process the way I should have been. So how do you get to that place to where you recognize that, and what steps should you be taking, to properly call them out? Or do you call them out to say, I recognize where we're going with this? What should be your course of action? Because, I'm all about career empowerment. I'm all about, you taking control of your career and being able to have the tools to get through that, whether it's communication, whatever it is. What would you suggest to the women who are listening?
So I would say there's a couple of things. One is we talked about the example of a plan to get promoted, and you're very clear on what it is that you need to deliver. You will start to see people in motion, either to support you or sabotage you. You will see, whether you want to believe it or not, because they're not shy about it. They may start off in a quiet room, but the more they get back or clear that this ain't going to happen for you, they get bold about it. So let's start there. So once you see these things starting to happen around you, there needs to be a paper trail. Documentation beats conversation any day. Here's what we agreed to. This is what I delivered. But one of the things that I feel that has been missing, in particular for our younger new generation coming in, is that they don't feel that they need sponsorship or mentorship. It is so critical for you to move to the next level. You have to have some sponsorship and mentorship. And I'm not talking about your girl that's sitting next to you. I'm talking about decision makers. I'm talking about people who at the table who have voting rights on your future. The third thing that I would mention that I believe is critical is all of us get performance evaluations. You need to read those things carefully, because the language becomes so important that it gives them wiggle room. If you ever get an evaluation that says, Sherry is a nice person to work with, you make them take that shit out immediately. I'm getting excited. I'm sorry. Evaluate nice. Okay? Everybody nice. I pay you to be nice. At a minimum, you should be nice. Okay? No, ma'am. No, nice. You want that document to start out by saying you have met or exceeded expectations. Number one. Number two, they should be able to give clear examples where you have done that. And number three, you're going to always have an opportunity area. Most times they make that shit up. I'm on a roll now. However, it could be something true. And if it's something that is true and you can live with, you make them wordsmith it to the hell out of it. So it looks like it's a strength and an opportunity. Right? Tawana is communicative. What does that mean? But since you don't know and I don't know, we can roll with it because it's vague enough. But if you telling me that I don't understand a word that comes out of her mouth, then that's a different story. Sherry, don't get me excited on here. They're not going to let me come back.
We have to talk about it because that's what our viewers are here for. Kimberly said generic BS.
Exactly.
You know, just Phyllis says you're on the road, girl. You're on the road. It's true though. We have to talk about it because this is what we're here for. It's part of our platform. So you know, the women always want to get on that soapbox and talk about it. So it's true.
Absolutely.
But I think part of this here with it being in the new doing is important because they can go back and the bottom line is recognizing the BS, like you said, but then how are they going to be able to navigate through the BS when they see that happening?
Mm-hmm.
I remember I had a friend of mine and she, at her review time, is that all that stuff was just completely just a bunch of crap, and she made them go back and read the whole thing.
Absolutely. And the other thing is you don't have to sign it.
Nope.
They tell you have to. You don't have to sign it, as I agree, or just sign it so we can move along. And if you do sign it, you need to say, I'll sign it, but I'm going to put a statement in there that says, I do not agree with XYZ. However, I'm signing it to move us through the process. And then sometimes I've had employees to not sign it. I've, had them to go, that's good, don't sign it. Right, that's my sidebar with them. Because what that shows is that, no, I'm not aligned. And then you do your paper trail again. Thank you for my review today. There was clearly some things that we did not align on. I want to make sure that they are captured. Here's why I'm not signing it, or here's why I will sign it as long as these things or my statement is put in it.
Right.
You do have that option.
Now, Kim says, I love wordsmith the hell out of it. I'm up for review and promotion, and I know to make some stuff a strength and an opportunity. I love it.
Great, Kimberly. I'm glad that was helpful.
Yep, I'm glad it was helpful too. Because, yeah, I mean, these are the things that you need to know, and the whole documenting piece. I mean, there are at least 2 occasions in my career where me documenting things and saving the email trail.
Mm-hmm. They get selective amnesia.
Made them look real stupid in
Absolutely.
the end.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I would say to you is if you do have a disagreement and it's a one-on-one, you invite your one-up manager or your HR manager. And for me, I love the party. So I have everybody there. They be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to talk with Tawana. Yep. So if you don't want to talk, you think we can reconcile it right here? Mm-hmm. No. Okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, these are some great nuggets, viewers, that you can take away from with Tawana. I mean, I'm telling you, we can really talk to Tawana for another hour. Trust me.
Absolutely.
Trust me. And you guys be like, what? I'm like, yeah. So
spilling all the beans.
Yeah, this is good stuff. So let's go back to intention, right? Because I really want the women to walk away being clear on recognizing their intentions as they walk into the space of whatever it is, whether it's family, personal, professional,
absolutely,
spiritual, just really being clear on the intention, because this is something I've been really trying to work on. And in really doing, faith by works so much. Right. And really learning to practice that more. So let's give them some nuggets they can walk away with in terms of what they can do starting tonight, tomorrow, in
Right.
intention.
I would challenge you to just take some time to meditate or just create a space for you to think about what's important. And if you say everything, then just take a piece, just look at a day of what you do every single day and go, does this line up with my ultimate goal? Because intention should also get you focused. The benefits of intention is focus, right? It gives you a level of clarity that you may not have before. And more importantly, it helps you to make choices.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the flip side of that is intention can scare you because it can have you expose things in your life or in a particular area that you're like, I don't want to deal with this. I've been avoiding this for these reasons. It's going to require me to do things that I don't want to do, maybe not be associated with people that you are today, maybe cut off things that you've been wanting to cut off for years that you haven't had the strength to do. So it does expose you and have you to be vulnerable. But I would offer to you that when you declare that something is important, we make important things happen. And we do it with a level of certainty and clarity that should energize you, not have you feeling depleted because you have given yourselves to so many things. I'm challenging you all to take back yourself. And I started out with your time. If you see your time as an extension of yourself, and if you say, I give an hour and 45 minutes every single day to this or that, and I'm going to stop doing that thing, see how does that make you feel and what does that translate for you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think as we talk about careers in particular, which is a challenge for us as women of color, and in particular in a corporate environment that has its own, how should I put it, way of sucking life out of you.
Yes.
Right? You have to be intentional about how you are deciding to navigate in this space until you can do something different if it doesn't work for you. I can honestly tell you, I've been in corporate America for 21 years and I've been successful at navigating it. It has come with a price and a cost. And now that I have an opportunity to step away from it, I want to give to as many people as I can those nuggets that will help them better navigate, as I learned that early on in my career, and it has served me well.
Mm-hmm. And that's why, I really think that Tawana is such a great catalyst for this conversation, which we really need to continue on another
Absolutely.
Another webcast like this with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know some of the stuff you told me in the past. So I just know that it'd be great. Plus, we need to get them here for the conference, you guys. Don't you think?
Absolutely.
I think that, no, this is good. Because, and I'm going to read Tracy's comment. I don't know if we have any more. Oh, we do. Okay, we do. So Tracy says, in today's world, often you no longer have access to local HR office. Everything, including HR, is virtual or email, and they never respond. Not my experience, but it happens with so many that I know, which is true. That's a good point that you make, Tracy. And again, yes, it is a nightmare when you do not have an HR team on site. But then I think that also Tawana would agree with me too, is that even if you have an HR team on site, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are for the employees.
Absolutely.
And so you have to be clear on, as an employee, to make an assessment about your local HR team, if they are pro-employee or pro-employer, and that's real talk.
Absolutely. But Sherry, I think one thing is is important for the audience to take away is don't distinguish HR from your manager.
Yes, that's
right.
True.
They are another person in the chain of, you can call it decision making, you can call it, that leads to your promotion, you can call it whatever. And as you assess where your manager is around supporting or not supporting, you assess if HR is, to Sherry's point, pro-employee or pro-employer. And then you begin to navigate accordingly. So what do I need to do? And there is ways to expose HR. And again, I will take us down a totally different path there, Sherry. So we will definitely say that. But the point I was making about HR is when you have a disagreement, sometimes managers will leverage HR to say, well, we're going to go to HR. And most people go, ooh, HR, no. I want you to embrace the offer and say, yes, let's bring in HR. But if you're that confident, make sure you have your stuff in order. So I go back to documentation beats conversation any day. Because when HR comes in the room, and again, we can talk later, you can tell there's some key words that you could throw out to HR that will make them sit straight up, that they're required by law to respond to. I won't give y'all those secrets tonight. That's for another day. But
I know, I was hoping you would say it. I know what they are, but I was hoping.
Okay. So, hey.
That's okay.
Thank you.
So Andrea says, thank you, Kawada. Everything said tonight. Is that my echoing? Hold on. We'll turn that light on. There you go. It says, let me know I'm not doing anything wrong. It's others who are scared to do things right. The BS versus the others, she said. Thank you for your thoughts and your expertise.
Thank you.
All right. And then Brooke also says, thank you for your insight and honest nuggets. As my dad always would say to me, don't take no ish. They don't have to like me, but they do have to respect me.
Absolutely.
Yes, you get a lot of thank yous tonight. You're breathing life into some people tonight.
I love it. Thank you. I'm so honored to be here to share our Be Printing process. Being is the new doing. I do want to give a plug, Sherry, because we have a book coming out. Yay. At the beginning of February. Actually, Radaya has taken the intention scale, which we were talking about, and has translated that into her experience with it and how this all came to be.
Oh, that's
so I hope you all will go on our website and look at the different things that we offer, as well as pre-order the book. So we are so excited about that, and we would love to come on, Sherry, because we're planning to do master classes on the book.
Yes. So here's the thing. So we have, so Sherry Tawana has to come back now because I want to know what those HR secrets are.
Absolutely.
We will to bring Tawana back, and it's going to be I'm going to actually, this is, and I might just say it now since, because I was already had it kind of brainstorming it, but I'm going to do like more of an HR exclusive one just for HR period. So kind of more like an HR confidential type of webcast, and bringing in some experts like yourself who can really kind of dive in to help them understand what HR really means to an organization from various aspects, and so they can understand that better.
Absolutely.
So
I think that would be awesome.
That's an education that employees should have, and they just don't get that.
Absolutely.
So just kind of sharing that insight for that. So Phyllis says, yay for your book.
Thank you, Phyllis.
Sherry, thank you for continued blessings and success.
Yeah.
Phyllis says, the jewels you're giving us tonight, thank you for that. And so here's the thing. Let's go ahead and tell them where they can find you, Radaya, and Ronnie. And then, of course, where they can find Evoke Life as well.
Absolutely. So we're based out of Maryland. And with the book coming out, we will be doing some tours. So we'll be getting girls together and just having some master classes on the book. So we're very excited about that. But of course, you can go to our website. And I'm excited because the end of this month, we have a destination event where we're going to the Grand Cayman Islands. We're taking 25 women. And we are reprinting them so that they can start their year off with their own personal B-print, with their action plan in place for how they're going to take on this year and years to come. So we're very excited about that. This will be our second time doing it. We did it at the MGM, and you can see snippets of that on our website as well. And then we would love for you to get a bunch of women together and invite us to your city. How about that?
So I guess we'll have to have that conversation in reference to conference time.
Absolutely. So that's where you can find us on. And of course, we have a private Facebook session group that we have where B printers have already been in, and now we just breathe life into that audience as well. So if you're interested, please go onto our website. We are starting subscriptions with a do-it-yourself B printing, where we will have an intention studio that we're building right now, where it will be our platform to just breathe life into. You'll have master classes in there. We'll have conversations about different things that affect us as we are going through trying to shift from this doing to being.
Okay.
And so I'm so excited about that. More to come, ladies. Continue to check our website.
So more to come, as you can see here. So want to go ahead and cover a couple of things. So tomorrow's Career Smarts Virtual Masterclass is going to be with Callie. No, actually it's Wednesday. It's going to be with Tony Howard. And Tony Howard is a global diversity inclusion leader, and she is located in Dallas, Texas. And she has a small business called the Corporate Tea.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to be here talking about the politics of promotion with us tomorrow night. So that's, I know, the politics of promotion. So she's going to be talking about that with us tonight, giving us some great insight and tips. So I'm excited to have her on. And then on Thursday nights, we're going to have Callie Carr, she is located in Atlanta, Georgia, and she is a power presence expert.
Yes.
Talking about power presence, and it's not just talking about the physical appearance, but more of communication, everything that you need to have that presence in terms of being able to go to the next level. So she's going to be talking about what that looks like, and what you should be doing to create some power presence for yourself. Mm-hmm. And then on Friday night, same time, we're going to have Minda Hartz, and Minda is in New York City. She has an organization called The Memo, which really has the same initiative as mine, which they support women of color in their career development, but they focus on really helping them to have a seat at the table.
Mm.
And so
exciting.
She'll be with us Friday evening, and we'll be talking about really just kind of like dealing with the biases and being able to navigate to get that seat at the table. Mm-hmm. And so we'll be talking about that Friday night. So we're having an exciting week here. I'm so glad. I know Ronnie. I love me some Ronnie.
Oh yeah, I know.
I love her now. Hey, she couldn't get on, but we had to get back on as fast as we could from that, that technical thing. So, but this was great, Tawana. We definitely need to get you back on for the HR Confidential one that I'll be doing. And couple of things before we go. For some reason, I can't get my little screen to let me get back up here and add this. So if you got some paper, write this down. For those of you watching tonight and those of you who tuned in last night, we are offering our membership to you guys who are viewing in our masterclass this week. 50% off the membership this week. I'm being generous, aren't I?
Yeah. Awesome.
Go into bcwnetwork.com, click on membership, and then use the promotional code Career Smarts MC. Career Smarts MC, and use that, and you get 50% off your annual membership. You want to do this because these replays will not be available just outside of our Facebook group, and then I'm going to be taking them down. Once they're down, they will only be accessible as a member through our website for replay. And so if you're not a member, you will not be able to get access to these within our Career Smarts series. So here's the thing. For you guys who came on late, just to give you a little bit of snippet about what Career Smarts is. Career Smarts is Black Career Women's Network's professional development series. So what we are going to be doing throughout the year, things like this, webcasts, we'll be holding workshops. We will also have smart guides, and we'll be doing career strategy calls that will go along with this. Career Smarts analogy for BCWN is clarity, strategy, and solutions, which equals Career Smarts, which helps to take you to the next level. All of the ladies that are involved in this webcast this week really help you to understand what this means, what clarity is, what being strategic means, and offering solutions. So part of this is being able to share with every aspect of your career and helping you to get clear and give power to the necessary things you need in order to elevate to the next level. So think about what is it you want to give power to in your career? What aspect that you need to work on to give power to that can shift, right, Tawana? Can make that shift to move to the next level. Mm-hmm. So again, replay will be available in the Facebook Live group, but only for a short period of time. Once it is gone, only members will be able to access the replays after that. So I just want to let you know that. So again, go to bcwnetwork.com, click on membership, and use the promotional code Career Smarts MC. And become a member. So you can see women like Tawana in live in person at the conference.
Right.
Exactly. Right? So again, I'm not going to keep you guys. Thank you for being patient with us with the technical difficulties we had coming on. If you have any more comments in the box, I can't see them because we won't let me put them up on there. But Tawana, can you see any more of the comments?
I can't. But I do just want to thank you, Sherry, for allowing us to be on. It's been a long time, but there's a long relationship there, and you're doing a fantastic job, and we love our sister partnership that we have. So thank you. We're all
I told Radiah we got to get you guys here for the conference this time around because we got to get you here. And again, I'm going to be emailing you because I do want you on our HR Confidential.
Sounds good. We'd love to do that. Thank you, ladies, for allowing me to share.
So I'm going to leave this with you guys. The life God gave you is larger than the life you've been living, which means that God gives us all special gifts. And it is our job to discover what those gifts are and use those to work in our purpose. So we hope to see you guys tomorrow night on our day 3 of our master classes. So enjoy your night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Good night. Thank you. Bye.